In this question, we're asked to factor 3x squared plus 7x plus 4. Now notice this quadratic has a leading coefficient or an a value that is something other than 1. In this case, it's 3. So we're going to need to use the x method and then factor by grouping. So what we need to do is we create an x, and I'm going to go ahead and label my a, b, and c values. So my a value is 3, my b value is 7, and my c value is 4. So in my x, on the bottom, I'm going to put a times c, which in this case is 3 times 4, and so that's going to be 12. And in the top of my x, I'm going to put the b value, which is 7. And I'm looking for two numbers that add to b and multiply to a times c. And the two numbers that do that for us are 3 and 4, because 3 plus 4 is 7, and 3 times 4 is 12. From here, what I want to do is I want to take my quadratic and I want to rewrite it using these numbers as coefficients for x. So 3x squared, and what I'm doing now is the 7x, I'm splitting that up into 3x plus 4x. And if it's not clear why I'm doing that, hopefully it'll be clear in just a moment. So I have 3x squared plus 3x plus 4x, and then my c value does not change, that's plus 4. And now we're going to utilize something called factoring by grouping. So the first two terms, I'm going to separate those out with a set of parentheses. And the second two terms, I'm also going to separate out with a set of parentheses. Now my goal is to factor out the greatest common factor out of each of those set of parentheses. So in this first set of parentheses, both terms have a 3x in them. So I'm going to factor out 3x. And what's going to be left over is I'm going to have an x and then a plus 1. And in the second set of parentheses, the greatest common factor is 4. So I'm going to go ahead and factor out a 4 from each of those terms, and that's going to leave me with an x plus 1. And if you look, these two sets of parentheses are the same expression, and so now I can factor that out from both of these terms. So if I factored out x plus 1, what's going to be left over is the 3x plus 4. And so that is how we would factor this quadratic that has a leading coefficient of something other than 1, which is another way of saying that the a value is something other than 1.